Night Team's Mike Benner joins us now live with her story. And Mike, she says someone was definitely looking out for her.
The big man upstairs, Joe and Juanita admits she's lucky she's even around to say that. For 50 years, she staffed an office here at Nickel Plumbing. But earlier this morning, a tornado ripped right through the business. Cinder blocks everywhere. Take a look at this damage. Shattered glass, ruined drywall. This live look is about as close as you will get to the debris, and Juanita missed it all by mere minutes. Yeah, Joe, we're at 15th and Beach in Northeast Portland. I'm going to let the pictures do the talking. John, if you can tilt down, you can see that I am standing in shin-deep water right now. This entire block is shut down to traffic. Just take a look at that car there in the distance. Water is covering the tires, and similar scenes are unfolding all over the city. Talk about a great assignment, Tracy. A lot of buzz in the air tonight here in Corvallis. Check it out. The Oregon State Marching Band getting a final pep talk before tomorrow afternoon's game. You might imagine the Beavers want nothing to do with sending the Ducks to the national championship game. I can tell you that much. Well, Joe, it appears as if winter has arrived a few weeks early here at Timberline. It's been snowing up here for the better half of 10 hours. Believe it or not, conditions not too bad down at Government Camp, but once you start heading up here to Timberline, things get dicey, and once you arrive, besides a few diehard weather enthusiasts, it's a virtual ghost town. Amy, good evening from a very somber Tucson. As you might imagine, unbelievable shock and dismay setting in here tonight. If I step out of the way, you should be able to make out the glowing memorial outside the University Medical Center where victims are recovering tonight. Each flame representing hope for the innocent lives that were brought to a screeching halt as a result of today's violence. Nightfall in Tucson, Arizona, and darkness couldn't mask the horrific scene where nearly 24 people were shot hours earlier.
It's a sad day for America.
Pima County Sheriff Clarence Dupnick says around 10 o'clock this morning, U.S. Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was holding an outdoor town hall meeting when it was suddenly interrupted.
A gunman approached and started shooting.
According to the sheriff, the gunman shot 19 people, 6 fatally. Among the deceased, a 9-year-old girl and a federal judge by the name of John Roll.
I've never met a more sincere, fair-minded, brilliant federal judge, or any judge for that matter, in my whole life.
Authorities believe the 22-year-old shooter was targeting the Arizona congresswoman. And tonight we're told Gifford suffered a gunshot wound to the head. Her prognosis unclear.
Spoken to the trauma chief. She has a very severe wound, but he's cautiously optimistic that there is a possibility she could survive.
This afternoon in Phoenix, under heavy security, we were there when Governor Jan Brewer addressed the massacre in Tucson.
It's an unbelievable tragedy that the people of Arizona experienced today, one of which, of course, in our worst nightmares, we would never could have imagined.
Tonight, the suspect is in police custody thanks to 2 men who tackled him. Other than his status as a student at a local college, few details about him are being released. But Sheriff Dupnick will say this.
The anger, the hatred, the bigotry that goes on in this country is getting to be outrageous.
Very poignant words from the sheriff, who tonight does not believe the suspect acted alone. So an active search this evening for a second suspect. In the meantime, we expect to hear from law enforcement again in the morning. Live in Tucson, Arizona, I'm Mike Benner. Amy, back to you. When this thing first got going, you could see smoke as far south as the Highway 30-405 interchange. And then we got out here on scene and we were swallowed by it. Absolutely unreal. If I step out of the way, you can see that the Shamrock Mini Mart is still smoldering at this hour. Smoke visible, flames visible. This after a pretty aggressive attack on the part of firefighters.
From engine 13, we've successfully taken over the hydrant.
Dinner time in St. John's, and an army of firefighters descend on the intersection of North Fessenden and Oswego, where a fire is torching the Shamrock Mini Mart.
This is awful. I guess that's their whole business is gone now.
Flames and heavy smoke pour out of every inch of the building, proving to be too much for the more than 6 firefighters on scene.
All we can do is just lob water out and wait.
Fire crews try to get inside and fight their aggressive fire inside. They got pushed out because of heavy heat.
Instead, they go on the defensive, dousing the Mini Mart from the ground and above as hundreds look on in awe.
It's pretty sad to see the store burn down, you know.
And you can't help but feel for the crowd of onlookers. The Shamrock Mini Mart has been a landmark in this North Portland neighborhood for decades.
Wicked, you know. I thought I'd never see this place go anywhere.
Unfortunately, on this night, it appears to be a total loss. More evident with every crumbling piece of history.
I can really sympathize. My God. I can't imagine what they'd be feeling right now.
And back out here live at North Oswego and North Fessenden. The good news tonight, nobody was hurt in this 2-alarm fire, including the few employees that were inside the Shamrock Mini Mart when it went up in flames. We're told that firefighters will be out here throughout the night, keeping an eye out for any hot spots. Investigators hope to get inside tomorrow to find out what sparked this. Back to you.
She was home alone when 3 men broke into her home. She hid underneath the blanket while she called 911. And tonight you'll hear a dispatcher talk her through it, even as one of the bad guys walked right into her bedroom. News Channel 8's Mike Benner is live at the Multnomah County Jail, where all 3 suspects are being held. Mike, she is such a courageous girl.
Very much so, Laurel. And those suspects range in age from 21 to 27. And tonight they're all charged with first-degree burglary. As for that girl they terrified, well, she's in the national spotlight. She'll appear on the network news tomorrow morning, not to mention Inside Edition tomorrow night. And you're about to hear why.
911. Hi, there's someone at my door, and he keeps on knocking on the door, and he tried opening it.
The voice on the line belongs to 12-year-old Mackenzie Hughes, home alone yesterday afternoon when there was a knock on the door.
I always look through the people, even though I know it's my brother's. And it was this Hispanic guy I have never seen in my life.
If that wasn't scary enough, Mackenzie noticed 2 other men outside. So the dispatcher ordered Mackenzie to her bedroom, just seconds before one of the men broke inside the house.
He's rummaging around. I could hear. Okay. Talk quiet, okay? And can you tell where the noises are coming from? Yeah, it's right down the hall.
Fearing that the man was inching towards the bedroom, Mackenzie tried hiding in the closet, but the phone cord wasn't long enough, and there wasn't enough room under the bed either. Mackenzie was down to her last hope.
Sat on my bed, and I covered myself with this blanket, and I just talked to her.
But then things took a terrifying turn.
He's in my room. He's in your room? Okay, be quiet, okay? Don't talk to me, it's okay? Just don't talk.
Mackenzie stayed as still as possible as the dispatcher tried to calm her.
Okay, take deep breaths, okay? Think of something really fun, okay?
Eventually, the sound of police sirens spooked the man and he took off running, right into the arms of an armed officer.
The officer came in, saw that the gate was open to the backyard, walked up and saw the guy coming out of the back door carrying a computer. So he was taken at gunpoint.
Police arrested 2 other men as well, and they all appeared in court this afternoon.
It amazes me, but it doesn't surprise me that it played out so well. And I'm just thankful to God that because it could have went really bad.
But it didn't, thanks in large part to an experienced dispatcher and a little girl who proved she was calm beyond her years.
It was pretty cool. They're saying I was awesome and I was brave and I was a hero.
Now, you may recall there have been a few other burglaries in the Troutdale area over the last month. Tonight, detectives are working to see if there's any connection between those and the one involving Mackenzie Hughes. Back to you.
Mike, you toured the house tonight, and you're going to show us the tens of thousands of dollars of damage.
Easily, Laurel, and the damage is not exclusive to inside the home. In fact, we're in the garage right now, and you'll notice that the door is missing. Check this out. It's because the tenant drove his truck right through it. Now follow me inside the kitchen and you'll notice the brand new sink put in not too long ago. It's got a lot of trash in it. The faucet is broken and the cabinets are missing. They were allegedly burned in the backyard. As you can see, the tenant showed no mercy on this place.
We now have a walk-through, almost big enough for a drive-through.
After you take a look around Cindy Hyatt's rental property, it's quite amazing she even has a sense of humor.
Somebody said they heard a jackhammer. I don't know. But, yeah, this was a beautiful tile floor.
From the kitchen to the bedrooms, there's not a single room in good shape.
I just walked through the house and I was just in shock. Every step I took, I just was in more shock.
Hyatt rented out the property at the beginning of the year. Her tenant was 47-year-old William O'Letty.
He said he owned his own landscape business and could keep the yard up really nice for us and just, you know, seemed like a really super nice guy.
And he was, for 2 months. But in March, O'Letty stopped paying rent. Hyatt had no other choice but to evict him.
You can tell by the blinds that was not an accident.
She says O'Letty didn't take it well, and he took it out on the house, smashing windows, breaking sheetrock, even trashing the backyard shed.
I just could not believe that somebody could maliciously destroy your property like that?
Looks like there's a interior door that's been removed.
We showed the damage to an expert on landlord-tenant rights. Beyond doing a background check on the tenant, he says there's only a few things a landlord can do to avoid similar situations.
The landlord can ask for references, can ask for a security deposit, can ask for a cosigner.
But in the end, there's no telling it would even help.
I don't know.
Just ask Cindy Hyatt.
I can't think of anything horrible enough to happen to somebody that could do that.
And back out here live, another look at the damage in the living room. We're told an insurance adjuster will be out here tomorrow. This place expected to be off the market, so to speak, for the next several months. As for William Maletti, he was arrested last night and charged with 1 felony count of criminal mischief. We've since learned he's been forced out of 2 other properties by landlords. Back to you.